crafty friends. My name is Kimberly Smith and I'm the Paper Chef. Have you ever wondered if you're even making a profit when you sell your crafts? I've actually sold my crafts before for less than, than I should have and didn't make any money whatsoever. And I was doing this more than once, like maybe for many years. I've actually gone to so many craft fairs that there were some where I didn't even make a profit. Like the table cost me more than the actual profit for the craft fair. Well, I wanted to turn things around and never do this again, ever. And I want my crafty friends to never do this again either. Now, my mother and I have been selling crafts combined for over 100 years. I mean, this is the truth. She's been sewing since she was 7, and she's pretty much made a living all my entire life as a seamstress. And I have been a paper crafter for longer than 20 years, and I have been selling my crafts a lot. I want you to understand that if you don't make a profit when you sell your crafts, you are better off giving them away because of all the goodwill that will serve others with. Then you'd be better off doing that than lowering your prices to the point where you're not making a profit. So I have started out this craft fair season with my latest craft fair calculator, which I designed from scratch. And I want to tell you about where to get it. And I even put it on sale right now for only $4.95. And my normal price is going to be $6.60. And that's because Etsy charges a ton of fees. And we can do other Etsy videos. I have a lot of sales on Etsy and I can tell you all about, those kind of things. But I have a couple digital downloads on there. And my motto is when I find something that I need, then I just develop it. Okay. And then I want to share it with others because I'm so excited about it. So I'm missing a lot of your comments. I do see that you're coming in, but you know what? It pops up and it pops down. And I hope I don't see. If I touch it, I'm going to probably miss you guys. There's some comments. Cancel. Yep. Okay, there we go. Hello, Deborah from Australia. Nubia. Candace. Hey, okay, good. So Candace is doing her first craft fair in December. Linda, please chime in. You do these fairs all the time. You've sold a lot of card classes and fairs. Karen is here. Karen Fintress. Kathy, Lisa, this is awesome. All right, so I want to show you something else that's on my Etsy shop. These aren't like actually the color labels right now. These are the old in colors, but on my Etsy shop, I have color labels for all of the Stampin' Up colors. So that's another digital download. Well, I wanted to label my markers, my folders, my cardstock. So I was like, oh, I need to label things. So I developed labels. And so I also have them there. So I wanted to calculate the craft fair and I wanted to do it simply. I have a spreadsheet as well, but I wanted to make something that was easier than a spreadsheet because when you give away a spreadsheet, my users tend to, even if I try to make it so it's not editable, they tend to get lost in the tech of it. But when you make a PDF, it was a lot of programming to calculate these fields. But when you make a PDF, there's really no messing it up. I've locked the fields. You just enter some information and it will calculate things for you. Now, as of this, just today, I want to tell you about a sale at Walgreens because it's going to double your profit margin almost, right? By just changing the way that you can buy chocolate. So I want to show you these items and the ones I'm using for this sample in my craft fair calculator. So these are my hottest seller at any craft fair. So all throughout the season, I'm going to get on and tell you about different things I'm making. I'm going to be making mini coffee cups, mini boxes, Hershey's Nugget treats. I won't hardly sell any cards, but I will make some to show you about the profit margin on cards. I'm going to show you different things that I'm making and explain. Okay, so what I do is I'll pick these up as I'm talking and then you can see the different designs. I've created all this batch with Berry Christmas. I've timed how long it took me to cut them, how long it took me to make them. I'm going to tell you all that stuff right now. I also have I don't think it's Berry Christmas is the name of the sweet. And then it's called Berry Cute is the name of the stamp set. Berry Cute. Do I have it? Here we go. Berry Cute. You get the little bear from, and it has this really cute punch, and my voice is still scratchy from getting over stuff. But these are going to be something that I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a whole advent calendar because by the time my craft fair, it's in like, well, I'm having probably more than one, but like in November, it's going to be kind of hard to do an advent countdown to Christmas calendar. Hello, Melissa from Texas. And like I said, I might be missing some of you guys. B-Pre. Yeah, okay, so B-Pre's also saying cards never sold well. I'd like to know what your best seller is in craft fairs. Because honestly, I just stopped. What I did with my cards now, and here's some more boxes. Hi, Janet. Is if you buy an apron for my mom, I'm usually doing craft fairs to help my mom because it's very hard to sell our aprons on Etsy. And it's not very hard to sell them when we're in person. And when we go to different things like peaches to beaches or beaches to peaches, a big giant yard sale we have here in Georgia. When we do stuff like that, hello, Diane, we sell so many more aprons in person because people can hold up the apron, try it on. And you know, we just sell so many more that way. So I think what I'm going to do with my cards and what I've been doing with my cards is I just say, oh, when you buy one of my mom's aprons, just pick out a card here from my pile. Okay, especially if they purchase a couple aprons, like here, you can pick out a free card. On the back of my card, you have, you know, you do your things for the angel policy with Stampin' Up. You have your like copyright, Stampin' Up, little stamp in there. I try to make it tone on tone so it's not real dark. But then you have your sticker. I put a sticker, you know, Papered Chef, Kimberly Smith, order cards from me. Discount if you get many cards in a box, right? So thank you, Lori. She's saying she loves my little designs. And you know, that's how it goes. So you know, bring your cards because it's great to have cards and you can use your cards all year long. But don't worry if you don't sell your cards because you're going to use them. In fact, don't worry if you don't sell anything. So I'm going to explain what to do with the things you don't sell. All right, so let's start with the Hershey, the calculator. I filled this one out as a sample. I was going to take a picture. I did take a picture of this, but I covered up some of the prices because, you know, it's going to vary. But I took a picture kind of as a sample. And I want to explain that right now the chocolate is half price than what I'm explaining on here, only because today it was so much cheaper than what I calculated this with at first. So say you get a bag of Hershey Nuggets, and it's $10 a bag, and I'm going by like the price where the most it will cost you is like $10 a bag. And, you know, if you go on Amazon, that's how much it costs. But I'm on Prime, so I get free shipping. So you may have to add tax and shipping. But let's say it's $10 a bag, and you get 29 chocolates in the bag. Okay, so 29 of these little chocolates that I've wrapped. I was going to have a bag here as a sample. Let's see if I carried one over. I'm looking around my room here. I thought I had a whole bag as a prop, but I know I emptied 3 bags last night. Anyway, I counted how many come out of one of those bags, and I got 29 nuggets out of the bag. So doing the calculator, I put in $10, 29, and 29 come in that, you know, quantity, and it's per bag. So I have like there's a drop-down list, and of course, just leave it blank if I don't have the drop-down. You know, I included per bag, per package, per sheet, per yard, per hour. I added different things. But if I miss something, please send me suggestions. That's fine because my drop-down list can be a mile long. I can program in other options. But those of you that will have got the calculator aren't going to get the new updated one necessarily as I update it. But the quantity is per bag. And so that's 34 cents per chocolate nugget. Okay, so 34 cents per, and these are a little piece of heaven, guys. They have almonds in them, toffee, and you can get milk chocolate ones. They are awesome. 34 cents per nugget. Now, that's the most they're going to cost you. So then you need to then calculate, okay, if they're 34 cents each, then how many do I need for this project or for any project you're doing? So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to need 5 Hershey Nuggets. And then since they're 34 cents each, the cost of the Hershey Nuggets is $1.72. Okay, I hope that makes sense, $1.72. Now you could cut that in half right now this week. That cost, because, you know, chocolate shouldn't cost that much. And do we ever really pay full price, right? Does any crafter ever pay full price? If you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, for example, you're going to get a discount on the products I'm talking about, but I'm going to give you the full price of the paper and other things. So I went into Walgreens to return some masks because my husband was like, oh yeah, he had COVID, I had COVID. That's my voice is still scratched. He's like, oh, I want these, N94 masks. And I was like, I brought him home and he's like, I'm not wearing that. And I'm like, great. I spent $23 on these masks. So I was like, you're wearing it. But of course he wanted to wear the cloth ones when he went back to work. So I ended up getting like my money back, but of course I spent like 30 something in the process. So they are only $5 right now. And you don't have to, you can do mix and match. It says 2 for $10, but really it's $5 because like I mixed and matched. I had some odd number and they were still 2 for $10. So that's half the price. So then your quantity is going to be 50 and 36 cents, and 50 cents is 30. And so 86 cents. Okay. So you're going to half the price of this. So instead of, can you see that? Instead of $1.72, your cost per chocolate's going to be 86 cents. If you go to Walgreens this week and get those, and I'm in the US, and of course you can't all run to Walgreens if you're in other countries, and you can't even get Hershey Nuggets if you're in other countries, but so that's a moot point. You can get them, but they cost a fortune. But use the candy that you want to get and cut the cost as much as you can. And I'm going to go back to Walgreens because when you check out at the counter, there's something called register rewards. I really should be a spokesperson for these guys, right? Okay, there's register rewards. So I got this $5 coupon, and it says I have a week to use it, and it's $5 off of $15. So what am I going to do with the $5 coupon? I'm going to go buy 1, 2, 3 more bags of Hershey Nuggets because I need to spend at least $15. Get $5 off, and then we're talking $10 for 3 bags of nuggets, and then my cost of chocolate goes down even more. Okay, so but when you want to calculate your profit margin, always go by what your replacement value is going to be. What's it going to cost you to get chocolate again when it's not on sale? Or if you have to order some last minute on Amazon. And one bit of advice I have for you is if you're not sure if you're even going to do a craft fair, it doesn't harm you to cut out all your paper and everything. But when you start putting the chocolate in it, then it does kind of, I don't want to say harm you because we're talking about stocking stuffers here, right? But when you put all the chocolate together, then you're kind of point of no return. You have to sort of sell those or give them away or something. But you can always cut all the paper ahead of time. All right, so what I mean by that, I'm going to show you the next stage is, the next stage is bags. So I go on Amazon, and if you want, hello, Diana, and I'm sure others said hello too, but I missed you. If you want to get my bags that I get for $200 for this price, I will put the link in the description. I just haven't done it yet. So on Amazon, I looked at my past orders, and I looked at my 2 something inch wide by 10 inch, and then you'd have to cut the top off of your bag. And they were $8.59. I think they still are, for 200 bags. So that would be $200 per package, right? So the next thing is, how much does your bag cost? You might be like, really petty? Are you really going to calculate how much your bag costs? Yes. Calculate how much everything costs. All right, so bags are $200 per package. You get 200 in there. They're $8.59 per 200. Hello, Jeanne. Thank you. I'm glad you like these hints. 4 cents a bag. Okay, how many do you need for each nugget treat? You need 1. And the reason I put decimal points here is because sometimes you're going to need less than 1. I did my whole calculation tonight, and I realized right before I was going to get on, I had to finish and make these I had to make this go out to 2 decimal points. So you might be like, it's a whole number, I only need 1. Yes, but sometimes you don't need a whole thing. Sometimes you need part of something. But in this case, you do need 1 bag for each treat. So it costs you 4 cents a bag. Okay, now if you go to, I did grab some of these out. You could go to like Joanne, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. And you can buy pretzel rod bags, and that'll work. They're just a little loosey-goosey. The nuggets work fine in these kind of bags, so you could use these kind of bags. They're called pretzel rod bags. All right, next is going to be, what I want to talk about is, of course, I use my ScanNCut, right? But I'm going to talk about the sheets of paper. Sheets of paper. So I kept this template to show you, these templates to show you how many nuggets you'll get out of 1 sheet of paper. Now, these little pieces here I'm not using, but I didn't want to waste any paper. In fact, you could even do things with these really cool scraps. This will make a nice scrapbook layout. All right, so we have our tag topper for each Hershey nugget. Right, you have this. That's the part that goes on the top of your nugget, right? And then you have your wrappers. And we've done this tutorial before inside my in my scan and cut videos. We've done this tutorial before, making Hershey nuggets manually. Just search the chug channel. I'm trying to say channel. I'm trying to say search the chug it. All right, search the channel, this channel, Paper Chef, for Hershey nugget treats, and I have all my measurements and I show you how to make these with the ScanNCut and how to make them manually with a trimmer. But I just found it saved me so much time. Plus, my hands were hurting. I'm like, I don't want to cut all these out. You will get a little bit more out of your paper by cutting them out from the paper, but you're not wasting much space by having this tiny little interval between. So you have your wrappers. You need 5 wrappers, and you need 1 topper. Now, the ScanNCut does score, but I don't like the way it scores. So I scored with my Simply Scored. So I didn't put the perforation in the top here. You could put the perforation in the top perfectly using your ScanNCut. So how many do you get out of 1 sheet? That's the next part of my calculation. And this calculation, I'm going to go over another time in a different video with my computer, because you're probably like, what is this woman talking about? Well, this is something to do with a computer tutorial. Right now, I'm just kind of giving you an overview. And I figured tomorrow I would just get on here and do a whole computer tutorial, filling out this with you manually. And okay, and then you can really see how to use the calculator. So for the paper, it's $1 for a sheet. Now I could have done it by the package, but I was just going by the sheet. How do you close the nugget bag? I have that in my video, Jan, how to close the nugget bag. But it depends on how long your bag is. You got to chop down the bag. And I really try not to close the nugget bag. Actually, I don't close the nugget bag. I hide the bag underneath the topper. Okay, so like I would cut it down, and then I'd have longer than I need, and I'd fold in the sides a little and hide the top of the bag. That's another video. In fact, we could talk about craft fairs. I was thinking of doing a whole course like on just craft fairs, because I get asked the most about ScanNCut and about craft fairs. Those are the things I get asked the most about. I mean, I'll do 1,000 tutorials, and I've done 1,000. I'm not saying I'm going to do 1,000. I've done 1,000 tutorials, and the ones with the most views are, usually about my craft fairs and my ScanNCut. Anyway, back to this. Paper's $1.04 per sheet because it's $12.50 a package. You get 12 sheets in a package, right? So it's $1.04 a sheet, and then you're going to use 1/4 of a sheet. Now, here's where I'm telling you why I put the 2 decimal points. Do you know what I'm talking about by values? Like, it's a mathematical term. So when you say decimal, I have it out to 2 decimal values out here. The quantity per package, because sometimes your quantity is not 1 or 2 or 5, right? In this case, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a decimal point. I am using 1/4 of a sheet of this paper. You're not using a whole sheet. I'm getting 4 per sheet, right? I even have some extra wrappers, but that's beside the point. You can get 4 sets of nuggets out of this 1 sheet. So that's why I'm saying I'm using 1/4 of a sheet per nugget. So it might not sound like much, but it's 26 cents. Now, of course, you're like, well, don't you get a discount? Yes, I get a discount on the paper because I'm a demonstrator, but my discount's kind of eaten up by the cost of the tax to Georgia. We have Georgia's sales tax, and by the shipping, I have to pay 11% shipping to Stampin' Up. So I don't really consider my discount at all. I'm just kind of going by the price of the paper. So think about these things. And always, and if you don't get a discount and you're doing craft fairs, why are you not joining my team and getting a discount on your supplies to sell things with? Hello, why? Well, or just calculate your shipping and your tax into this calculation. Okay, so cardstock. Next, I did it by, it's 42 cents a sheet for the Stampin' Up! Cardstock. And I put down that I get 5 because I kind of you get a little more, but not just scraps of cardstock. You don't get like a whole lot more than that. When I say this is not a big enough piece, but like I do have extra cardstock at the end, I get more than 5. But I only end up with little scraps. So how many do you fully get out of a sheet of cardstock? 42 cents a sheet. And then I use 1/4 of a sheet, or actually I did 4. I think it was 5 though. And then I put 11 cents for cardstock. All right, so et cetera, et cetera. And then I did ribbon. Even though I don't put ribbon on all of these, I calculated how much was per ribbon, how much it was per stickers. And then I'm going to talk about, so I just kind of go by these, stickers I'm using, embellishments. Sometimes I'm using retired embellishments, but they still might have cost me $8 a package at the time I bought them. And it doesn't matter that they're retired, they're still cost something. Now labor, let's talk about labor. When we did this with my mom's apron, and we've done a few of these, and my friend Kathy helped me do some with some wreaths that her sister-in-law makes. and we're going to kind of put all these into, like, I'll print them out. I'm going to give you some examples, and I'll have more things to go with this download later. And I'm going to have a video to go with the download on YouTube, and I'll put that in the README file. But for now, I just want to talk about labor. We did this with my mom's apron, and she literally was like negative 3,000% negative profit margin, because we tried to be like, how in the world could she ever make a profit when it takes her 8 to 10 hours to make an apron? So you'd have to sell the thing for hundreds of dollars. So we were just like going by, you either have to, in that case, we sell her aprons. We used to sell them for $25, and now they're up to 30. I do 25 still if it's a mystery apron, but we do a 35 or $30 on Etsy, or $35. And there's something about what the market will bear. Okay. So I'll get back to this nugget in a minute, but I want to talk about labor. I'm talking about labor right now, which has to do with nuggets, and it has to do with crafting in general. You could say, if my mom makes $15 an hour, which I'm going to use for this calculation on these nuggets, we're going to pay ourselves just not a great amount, but we got to be minimum wage, right? We got to be above minimum wage. Well, she will then, if you go by, 8 hours or 10 hours or 2 days to make the apron, and the fabric costs so much now, she could actually lose money if we count her labor. So we don't count her labor for her apron, and you can choose to count your labor or not count your labor, because it's just such a labor intensive thing. Now, my mom is 91 years old. This is her only source of income. She doesn't have a pension for anything like that. She's a widow, and she's, my father passed many, many years ago. She don't have anything other than Social Security. Okay, so she makes money off the aprons, and I give her the money that we make off the aprons and all that stuff. So we don't sell them for like a huge amount, but technically we should sell them for like over $100. Really, for her to make a profit. But we do make enough for her she loves to keep busy. She sews every day. Her mind is staying sharp. Her hands are moving because she has arthritis. She's doing her thing. She's just blessing the world with her crafts. It is such a major blessing. She helps make things for my craft kits. So we consider this just a gift. We raised it to $30. We might raise it to $35, but it's still like, at the craft fair, we're going to sell them for $30 and $25, depending on it's a child's apron. It might be a little bit less. But fabric costs have gone up. And every time she goes to Hobby Lobby or Joann, she's spending like $100 on all these different fabrics and etc. But now let's get back to me. I do this for other reasons, which I'll get into at the end of the video. Okay, yeah, God bless my mother. Yes, that's true, right? She is lovely. Now, I put down $15, and I wanted to tell you how many I can make in 1 hour. And I've done this, and this is me, and of course, this might not be you. This takes 3 minutes to cut. Okay, so this hardly takes me any money. Time, not money. Time is money, but anyway, this hardly takes me any time to cut these. I cut loads of these in one day. I had my whole buckets filled up with like enough to make, 50 nuggets, and papers in there one at a time. Now, while it's cutting, I am standing here. I can't do much else while it's cutting. Although I'm rubbing the little thing so the paper doesn't fall off the ScanNCut. I'm doing some stamping. I'm cleaning my, stamps. I'm putting my things away, but I can't go far from my machine. I can't do anything else. Now, while I'm doing the assembling, I'm going to tell you that I do get 10 of these done in an hour. Okay, so what I did is I went $15 for labor, and then now I know when I'm a teacher, I make way, way more than that, right? Because I am a professional teacher as well, like not right at this moment, but I'm saying $15 an hour I'm going for this calculation. And then I do how much of an hour does it take to make these? So if I can get 10 in an hour, I did 0.10, meaning 0.1, 10% of an hour to make one. Because I can make 10 of these in 1 hour. And you're like, what? That's a lot. Well, I can. Between the cutting and it takes me 4 minutes to assemble. To assemble these. I did the 4 minutes. That was to put the whole thing together. I'm counting a minute for the cutting of these. And then I'm counting a minute for the toppers. Now I did all the toppers. Here's how I do you're like, a minute for the topper. I already had the topper. The 4 minutes is part of the assembling. Okay, so it takes me 6 minutes. And then when I say topper, I did all my stamping at once for all my toppers. Loads. I already had these die cut. Now I didn't count the die cutting time. So it's probably less time, because I should have counted the time it took me to originally make these die cuts. But these are already made. I have loads of die cuts made. So I was just talking about the stamping these, putting them on. And of course, I was timing myself. Did you ever time yourself and you go and you get done stuff so much more efficiently than you do when you're not timing yourself? Well, that's the case here. So I think about labor as this. It's a labor of love, a craft fair to begin with. Now, but while I'm doing this assembly, I am, my Netflix is on, or I'm listening to my podcast. I'm doing other things. TV's on, chatting with mom if she comes into the room. And I don't stand there in my she shed doing all this. These assembly, I'll take my Simply Scored or my trimmer. You need a little lap desk. And I carry it in and I just sit there and do this in another room. So, and I'm eating chocolate and the whole, I'm having fun. If you're not having fun, then please, by all means, don't do this. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of show you these as I'm talking. I'll hold them up for a couple minutes and tell you the last thing I didn't add yet, but I could add, is that you need a label because these contain nuts. And whenever you go to a craft fair, I'm going to put Stampin' Up stuff on the back and, my business information. But I also put Hershey's chocolate with almonds, contains nuts, just in case, so people know this. Because what if they give this to someone else as a little gifty, right? So let me show you. I did use Festive and Fun for one of these. And just the one with the square on top. I'll show you that one. Festive and Fun. Which one has the square? Oh, here it is. This is Festive and Fun. This is going to be the card club. This, not the whole thing's Festive and Fun. We're still talking about Berry Cute, but this little topper that says, a little something for you with lots of love from me. So that's from this stamp set. The Card on Blue card club I offer is the stamp set next month. Okay, then Warm Wishes came from the Berry Cute. The Warm Wishes, that's the workshop series for next month. Warm Wishes. This is our workshop series. Our card club. Every month we do a card club and we do a workshop series on YouTube. We won't, in December, we'll only do the card club and not the workshop series, but all the other months, for the past several years straight, we've done a workshop series. Okay, So Very Merry. This one is where I got the one that says, 'Tis the season to be jolly. Okay, so that's where I got this. So that's what I'm showing you. And I was going to alternate the paper like different colors. Up, down, like, snowflake, something else, snowflake, something else. But then I thought it was fun to use 5 different things. And then I used Real Red for the backgrounds. And let's see, Old Olive. And the one side's going to be right side up and the other side's going to be upside down. And then I used, Real Red, Old Olive. And the paper is so cute. Okay, so this is what I've done so far. I'm going to show you the rest of these. And then you're going to be asking me the question I always get asked. Well, what do you do? Okay, how much should you charge? Okay, oh my gosh. If I had a dime for I'd be rich if I had a dime for everybody asking me how much I charge for things. All right, so I'm going to tell you how much I charge for things and how to calculate your profit margin using the calculator. So here we go. And this is Night of Navy. So we've done everything and we've come up to the price of $3.83. Of course, that's overestimate, right? Not overestimate, but higher, on the higher side. It's only going to be maybe $3 for these. And then if you don't count labor, which is $1.50 for the labor, we're talking, you could do all this at cost for, $1.50 could be your total low cost side. But mine are up to $3.83. So then if you charge $5, which I do, that's what I charge, just so you know, then you have over here would be, you're calculating, you type in this number. Down here on the right side is what you type into the calculator, $5. Then over here, it tells you it calculates the difference between, I'll hold up the nuggets again in a moment. The difference between this number, what your cost of goods are, calculates the difference between what you charge. And I say difference, meaning sometimes you're going to say, wait a minute, I'm charging less than what I make, and you're going to have a negative profit margin. So think about this. I did allow for negatives in here and when I did this programming. So here you got $1.17 is the profit, and the profit margin would be 23.36%. But that's actually, as far as profit margins go, it's a good profit margin. But as far as $1, for making only $1.17 on these, no, I'm going to make more on these because I'm going to get the chocolate at a lower cost. I'm probably not going to count my labor. So I am going to get these. I'm going to make these probably for like, I'm still going to sell them for $5, but my cost of goods is going to be like $1.50 if you don't count the labor and you get the chocolate for cheaper. I hope you understand what I'm saying. There's a lot of factors in this, but we're giving you a calculator so you can calculate it off. All right, so now you are saying, okay, what do you sell for? Now, do you give a discount if they buy more? Can you afford to give a discount if they buy more? As long as you're still making a profit, you might want to say, yes, 2 for $9. Okay? Another reason I might give a discount is I might say, if I'm going to be at this craft fair on this date to my local friends, if you would like to pre-order these in advance, I will have them ready for you and you will get a discount by buying in bulk. That lets me go rock and roll, man. I can rock and roll. I could make like 100 of these in one day if I had to. Okay, just rock and roll through them if you have a lot of orders. And I would go ahead and use my retired paper, contraband, contraband meaning non-Stampin' Up, if I had a huge amount of pre-orders. Now, would I ever use non-Stampin' Up on the table? No way. I will use retired, but I will not use non-Stampin' Up on the table because I make my living because I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, first and foremost. So why am I doing all this? Okay, let's get into all that. Let's get into that for a moment right now. You are at a craft fair, number one, to get out of your craft room and socialize. We need human connection. Everybody craves human connection. I get to go see my church ladies, the ladies I'm in the Catholic group with, that we're having this craft fair, plus some other craft fairs at other churches. I'll meet people at other churches, or maybe it's a big vendor event. Okay, I am meeting people. I'm asking friends that don't sell things, can you guys come help me set up? Can I help my mom and I load and unload? That would be awesome if you can, or when my friends come by, hey, come hang out with us. There's an extra chair behind the table. It is my time to get out of the house and socialize. Okay, so that's number one. If I don't sell a thing, as long as I make my money back from my table, I'm pretty darn happy person when it comes to craft fairs. Now, if I had a lot of perishable things, I might not be saying that. If I had 1,000 cupcakes and I had to use up, and I can't do anything else with those without getting rid of these cupcakes in a couple days, then I might not feel the same way, right? But I'm just telling you how I feel when I go to craft fairs. All right, so I have the benefit of socializing and all that. Now, my husband is a teacher, okay? So he works at 2 different schools, and they're with about over 100 people he works with, okay? So, and I only just work by myself. I'm at my house. But I have a team, a very big team, and I have a large customer base. So let's just talk about teachers, team members, customer base. So do I worry about selling Hershey Nuggets in November? No. You guys are getting it all wrong. Do not ever go to a craft fair and say, oh my gosh, these are not selling for $5. I'm going to lower these to $3. Please don't do that. First of all, you're making it, when you sell crafts that are handmade for too low of a price, you are making the entire industry, you're devaluing the entire industry. So please don't do that and don't devalue yourself. You are much, much, much better off giving these away. So think of all the goodwill that you get when you give these to your customers, team members, your husband's coworkers, your own coworkers, your neighbors, okay? Or wouldn't this be really nice at the end of the day at the craft fair? You go up to tables. Maybe you saw some of your friends. They had craft fair tables. Maybe they were doing well. Maybe they weren't doing so well. They're just your friends. You walk around and you say, hey, guys, I had a really fun time selling crafts with you today. And, your information, again, is on the back of these. Here, I wanted to give you a little something, okay? Or, the priests come in, or the nuns from the convent, and they're walking around the craft fair. They don't make a very big salary. They do make a little bit of a salary. The Catholic school teachers don't make a whole lot of money. Or anybody walking by. Sometimes you have little kids that they're with their parents and they're like, Mommy, please buy me one. And she's like, oh gosh, I can't. You could tell sometimes when parents can't really afford things. Oh no, here, this one's on the house. So do you see how the goodwill that you can get from giving this away to people is much more valuable than you could ever get by lowering your price and getting only $3 measly for this? So if I'm not going to get my $5 that I plan on selling these for, 2 for $9 possibly, or pre-order with a different price, pre-order price, then forget it. I am not selling them at all. I would much, much rather give them away. Okay? Hello, Bonnie. Nice to see you. I hope that makes sense and that you understand that do not devalue yourself. Do not sell things for less than so that you can make a profit, like less than you can make a profit on something, and then you can give them away. Okay, furthermore, are these great stocking stuffers or what? You can put them in your, different friends' stockings, give them as gifts. Okay, you can go down to the fire station, give them out to the firemen. You could go into public, we have these, a youth center. That's what I was trying to think of. It's a public youth center. And it is packed after school. Oh my goodness. We went in there to buy, because they have a thrift store. My brother and I, he's like, oh, let's go support this thrift store because they have a, yeah, okay, she agrees about, GN, thank you. She's agreeing about giving them away rather than lowering your price. My brother's like, oh, let's go support this thrift store because they have a coffee shop in there. And we're going to support this local community organization. And it was after school. And I'm like, there are 100 teenage kids in here. Upstairs, downstairs, game rooms, walking around. It's a hangout. And there's tons of adults. And I was like, oh, I would so much rather than be hanging out in this kind of youth center than doing what they could be doing after school. And like, how great is that? So anyway, you could go over there with your bucket, your basket of crafts, and you could be like, I just had a craft fair, and these are items that didn't sell, and here you are. Okay, here you are. This would be great. Okay, another thing you do with your crafts is troops. Operation Shoebox is a good one, but you have to send them way before Christmas time because it takes like a month sometimes for them to get these boxes overseas by the time they get them out of their mailbox. And it's for troops that are deployed. They can't be in the U.S. They sign up for Operation Shoebox. I've adopted like 30 different troops. And they sign up and they have to be deployed overseas, and you send them boxes of stuff about a month ahead of time. Takes a week or two to get to the overseas, and then it takes a week or two for them to check their boxes or for this box to get to them out in the field. But you can make these for troops. Oh, it makes you feel so good. Sometimes we get Boy Scouts involved. So what you do is Girl Scouts. I mostly worked with Boy Scouts only because my friends were troop leaders for the Boy Scouts, and they would make cards with me as a community project for them. And then I would put all my candy and all my goodies in there with the cards, the thank you to the troops cards that the Boy Scouts would make, and we'd make these giant care packages and send them to the troops. Again, I mean, I'm saying these things because it makes me feel as good as it does for the people who get them. I know they send me thank you and they really appreciate it, but I also love giving out things, and that's just, and if you haven't done that, you're going to realize like, oh my goodness, it's so much better to give than to receive. And then a couple of my team members we have like one that has Show Mercy Crafting, Sue, and she does nursing home projects, and another one, Rita, she's a pastor in nursing homes, and so they call out to the team sometimes for different things to help with, and they give things to nursing homes. Now for that, you're gonna have to be careful because of the nuts, so you might want, if you're making these for nursing homes, just make them with the milk chocolate only and not with the nuts, and just then they can give them to more of their residents. You might want to do some sugar-free examples of this, right? So I'm glad you're getting this, finding this information useful, Alberta. Okay, so you could go out to give these to the nursing homes. Again, sugar-free is a good option for nursing homes, like different options. And you could write this chocolate sugar-free. I don't know if they make sugar-free nuggets, but they make sugar-free things. Now you can make, it doesn't have to be nuggets. You can make these with miniatures. I have a couple videos on making these with Hershey miniatures. I just don't like miniatures that much. So I don't usually make these with miniatures. They do look really cute, by the way. But they just don't, I mean, I don't like the way that they taste as much as I like nuggets. So, and anyway, you can eat them yourself too. But of course, I eat them while I'm making them. So that's okay. And then my mom, she goes on trips and stuff. And so I give her these to bring along on her trips to give to people she meets. Like she takes the train, on long trips, or the plane. And so you might give these. So you're going on a trip and you give this to the lady at the counter, who's checking you in, the flight attendant, the pilot, the train conductor, the person who helps. My mom's 91, so someone's always helping her with her luggage when she travels, the train conductor. Okay, you go out to eat, you give it to your waitress. Okay, so we've talked about nursing homes, friends, team members, customers, other vendors. I mean, just random acts of kindness to people you see. And then, of course, carry them around in your bag. It's a giant, perfect business card for what you do if you are doing this as a business. So making and selling crafts, I do it as a business. So they might say, now the reason, again, let's go back to why I'm using only Stampin' Up! Products, and then I'm kind of wrap this up. When you're at your table and someone says, that's really cute. Oh my gosh, you made those? Okay, Yes, I made these. That's really cute. Well, I used all Stampin' Up products. What I love about this is how I respond now. Okay, they say those are really cute. I've had this conversation 1,000 times, so I'm just telling you this conversation. Those are really cute. You made those yourself? Yes, I made them myself using Stampin' Up products. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. What's Stampin' Up? Well, you know, rubber stamping. I know what a rubber stamp is. Yeah, stamping. Well, we are a stamping company. We do much more than stamps. We make paper, we make ink, we make products. It is so much fun. Everything coordinates. Would you like, okay, I can give away catalogs at the craft fair. Would you like a catalog? You know, possibly, I usually don't unless they buy something, because giving away catalogs to people who haven't bought something or haven't expressed interest is kind of like, they might not, but if they start expressing interest, really, you made that yourself? Yes, I can teach you how. Here's a schedule of my upcoming classes. Here are workshops I do. Here's my YouTube channel where you can find out more about how I teach you how to use these products, okay? And then if they express interest, like, so you got the people that go, oh yeah, I can make that myself. Isn't that just candy? Okay, well, have at it. Can you make them yourself? 10 in 1 hour? I think not. But like, have at it. If you want to go make them yourself and go buy all the stuff and then like, you know, have at it. I'll give you, in fact, if they want to make them themselves and they start saying that, I'll say, hey, on my YouTube channel, I teach you how to make these yourself. Have at it if you don't want to spend the $5. Like, okay. But if they do and they start talking about expressing interest in your business, this is the time to give them a catalog, to talk about what you do. So now you've got your name out in the community. And then they go, oh, really? You know, I'm not very crafty. I own a business. Oh, bingo. You own a business. Okay. Would you like me to make these for your employees at your business so you could give them something this holiday season that's been homemade? Right? Bingo. Or you own a business. Would you like me to come in and do some team building exercises with your group? Team building exercises? Yes. I'm going to craft with your team. That's a team building exercise. Would you like me to come in and teach your team members how to craft? We have a kits collection, and it is a very, very easy kits collection where we can, you know, do things with your employees. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Is a craft fair ever a waste of time? Do you ever sit back and go, oh my goodness, I just wasted a day? No. No. You met people. In fact, some of my best relationships were built because we were having a slow time at craft fairs. And, you know, there's a painter next to me and she lives in the area, and like her and I are talking all day because it's kind of slow, right? We're building our relationship. We're talking about things, right? Okay, I have a sign on my craft table. She says, oh, I love that. That's so brilliant. Let me go back and read that one. I should have read all these. I hope I didn't miss anybody who was here. And I know you guys see my big finger in the screen here. Okay, Kim, thank you for your comment. All right, it says, I have a sign that says, okay, this is from Deanne. I have a sign that says on the craft table that says, sure you can make it, but will you? Sure you can make it, but will you? And I just think that's hilarious because people always, like, they'll go, that's great. So your daughter made the sign. Okay, I could make a sign like that too. But instead, I just go, when they say it, this is like this is, I think, one of the best responses is, okay, well, if you want to make them yourself, I actually have a YouTube video like on how to make them. Like, I'll give you all the measurements and because it does help you to get more views on your YouTube videos, right? And then maybe they're going to go, oh, I need the supplies. Now, I do have a friend on Etsy, and she does like sell on Etsy, and she does not want to be a demonstrator. But she sells like journals and different things. And I think it's because she also sells maybe a competitive product. I can't remember the reason she doesn't want to be a demonstrator, but she always comes to me and she's like, I want to get some cardstock from you for my journals because it's just the best quality ever, right? So it's your chance to talk about your business to people. And you're not talking about it like walking up to strangers talking about it. They said that's really cute. So they started it, and you get to like continue this conversation about your business. So if you want to, my connection just went down for one moment, and I really am wrapping things up. But lastly is when you do get someone to book one of these parties I told you about, like you go to someone's business, you do team building, or you do a kit workshop at someone's house, and you give out your upcoming schedule of classes, or you ask people, would you like to host a class? And always get information. Like maybe you have a raffle at your table and you say, oh, could I have your email address? And you'll be entered in the raffle to win these paper pumpkin kits or this basket of crafty goodness, right? Okay, when you get their information and you follow up and they do book a party, then one more thing you can do with all the things that you didn't sell at craft fairs is use them for the gifts to give to the participants at the party, people who placed an order, especially if they placed an order that night, or the hostess of the person who's having the party. So I just wanted to make sure I covered all the different things you can do with these crafts. Rather than sell them for lower than your cost, you can do all those things. All right, so speaking of low cost, this little craft calculator is on sale right now. I posted it just on my Etsy store, and you go to the link, it's the first link beneath inside this video, and you download it, and instead of the $6.60, which I'm charging, and the 60 cents is to try to cover the 20 cents listing fee, the fees they take out. I mean, I could go on and on about all the different things, but you have to do this if you're in business. You have to pay fees for different things. PayPal, Etsy, it's part of doing business, okay? Your craft table, we didn't even calculate that. We could do another, in fact, I may have to do more with this calculator and make another page about cost of gas, cost of hotel if you're going to a big vendor event, cost of the table. I mean, we could get into all of those other costs, but there's cost of doing business, okay? So when you get information from people and you follow up, you want to definitely incentivize them if they do place orders. Okay, so down there in the thing, it's on sale for, when I went to go post it, it said, do you want to put it on sale for a couple days? And I did. And so I put that little craft calculator on sale for like $4.95 or whatever it came up to be, $4.90. So you could do that digital download now. If you have any problems with it, I will fix it. There's a little README file with my email address and my website. So if you have any trouble, I'll fix it. We did test it a lot. I've had friends help me test it. So I think it's working well. But I mean, if it does some kind of weird calculation, hit the reset button. You can reset up here, reset form. And then, oh, I wanted to say, reset the form and it'll clear out the whole form. But if you're like, oh, I like this. This is what I want to use. This is all filled out. Go ahead and do a save as. You know this from my Canvas Workspace course, right? There's something called save as. Save as Hershey Nuggets, right? Open up a new one. Reset the form. Save as. We're going to do coffee cups this season. I'll talk about these boxes and how much they cost. So, and then I'll put the little candies in and talk about how much they cost. So we're going to do a lot of craft fair items and cost analysis during this season on my YouTube channel. This is one of the things that I wanted to, one of my goals, because I get asked so much. So anyway, save as and save a new file for every single time you have an item. And then you might do variations. Save as Hershey Nuggets 1 and so, Hershey Nugget 2, so you can have 2 different prices depending on how much you spend on your chocolate. And of course, my craft fair table is $25 only. And then my mom might get her own table, probably, $25. But sometimes vendor fairs are hundreds of dollars. And then in that case, you have to have a whole, a lot of more stuff to sell and a different kind of strategy and different goals for your different fairs. All right, well, I hope that was useful to you. And I see that many of you said it was. So I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for watching. This is Paper Chef. I hope you will download my latest digital download from my Etsy store. Have a great evening. And we'll see you again talking about this more later in the week.